What's going on, guys? It's Rylan with Rylan's Amazing Photography, and welcome to today's video. It's a bonus video. It's been a long-awaited video. Well, not necessarily long-awaited, but it's been long promised. This is the Q&A / reading your comments video. I have compiled these questions and comments from my Instagram and YouTube. So I am very excited to do this video. It's going to be interesting. I will be reading comments from haters, comments from people who appreciate my content, and I will be answering questions from people that they have left on my Instagram over various amounts of time. So, without further ado, I want to remind you all to like today's video. I want to remind you to subscribe, and I'm going to start reading these questions and comments. So, I'm starting with some of the questions that I've been asked on my Instagram page. The first question is, when did I start photography? Now, the ones on Instagram, I'm not going to be giving the usernames, but when I read some of the YouTube comments, I will be saying names because those are people that are really active on the YouTube channel, when some of these are people that are more active on the Instagram. Anyways, so first question was, when did you start with photography? I started photography, it's been almost 2 years ago. It was back in Christmas of 2018. Back in Christmas of 2018, I got my first camera, which was a Nikon D3500, and I took a lot of great photos with that, and it's starter kit lens, so you don't necessarily have to go and pay this big, huge, massive amount for a really nice camera and some really nice lenses. Obviously that helps, but it's not like a requirement to start with photography or anything by any means. You can start with a cheap camera that you can go and buy on eBay or something. I mean, that's when I started photography, back in Christmas of 2018. I'm not going to get on a big rant. The next question that I was asked is, which prizes have you won before? I think that's supposed to say prizes. I wouldn't call it a prize, but as far as awards go, I have I was actually got National Wildlife Photo of the Day. It was my photo of Cardinal in the Snow was the title of the photo. It's the photo with a cardinal in the snow. It's in some brush, and actually for the same photo I was nominated, but I actually won Snapshot of the Day. I think that was the title of it at the time. It was like an online award with Kentucky Living magazine, which is a magazine in my state. So, the next question is, what is my favorite lens? This is someone that I'm actually going to say who. Henry Doyle used to have a podcast that I co-hosted with him and Ryan Taylor. He asked this question. Henry, I don't know. This is this is very hard. I love all of my lenses. Honestly, if I had to pick one, the most versatile lens that I've got is probably the 24-70. I'm gonna have to say that one. I love all of my lenses. I really do, and they all have their own purposes. But when I'm traveling and when I'm really needing to hurry and get a shot or just take a snapshot in general, the 24-70 is gonna be the lens that I'm picking up for that. Am I still affected by wasp? Yes. Not right now because it's cold outside, so there's not really any wasps in the blind when it's freezing cold out. But during the summer, it's bad. It's like every 30 seconds there's one flying at me. I'm having to dodge it and smacking them with the fly swat. It's quite the fun time. There's definitely videos on the channel that you can find where I am affected by wasps. Yes, I'm still affected. I'm traumatized as well. Would I consider fashion photography? I guess that depends on what you mean. If you mean like shooting models and stuff, yeah, definitely. That would be something that I would totally be into. I would love in the future to work with like some portraiture magazines and some lifestyle magazines like Vogue, Time. I feel like that would be a really interesting job to have. If you mean like taking photos of like, I don't know, product photography that's popular with fashion right now, like product shots of rings and like dresses and stuff, I don't really, that doesn't really interest me. I'm not gonna lie. But like if you're talking about working with a model, yeah, that interests me. Yeah. How did I first get clients when I started? Well, actually, I didn't get clients. My very first client came to me. at the time, I wasn't interested in portraiture. I had never thought about doing portraiture. Well, I mean, I guess I'd had the thought, but it wasn't like, oh yes, I'm 100% going to start doing portraiture one day. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but yeah, I'm going to do that. That's not how it necessarily happened. I had given portraiture a thought, but I'd never really went out and worked on that thought and put that thought into action. But my first client, they came to me and they're like, hey, I want to get some portraits done. Would you be interested in doing it? And they said, and of course I'll pay you. And that obviously got my attention. And so I was like, I've never did portraits before, but I'm really honored that you asked me to do that. I will consider it and I'll get back to you. I ended up doing the portraits. A lot of them turned out really well. At the time, I had never did portraits. That was like my first time doing portraiture. So I was really nervous. Looking back now, I could have did a lot better on a whole lot of the shots, but a lot of the shots still turned out really good. And the most important thing was that the client was really happy. Now, if you're curious as to yourself how you should get into portraiture and like how you're supposed to get clients, really you just got to market yourself really well. Ever since my first client, I advertised those photos. I started advertising my pricing for portraits. And this doesn't necessarily have to be just portraiture. This could be selling prints. This could be selling a book. This could be selling your photo to a magazine. More important than anything in photography, obviously getting a great photo is really well, but to do this for a living and make money from it, you've really got to be good with business and marketing. You've really got to know how to market yourself, and I can't stress that enough. Advertise, make a Facebook page, have an Instagram profile, Twitter, everything helps, and you just got to market yourself really well. And if you're already doing really good at photography, chances are eventually a client's going to come to you first. And once that happens, I feel like it's a whole lot easier to market yourself and get more business bouncing off that first client. So now I am moving on to some YouTube comments. This should be a fairly interesting topic because I've not always been the most popular person on YouTube. I've not always received the kindest and the grandest comments on videos. I've been insulted multiple times. People enjoy attacking you for your thoughts, for your work, and most importantly when they don't have logic to like come at you for that. When your work is too good for them to insult it, they'll insult your appearance. So let's go ahead and get into these. These first couple of ones are they're nice, I think. Nope, that's a lie. The first one's nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the first one. The first one is from Todd Kunz. I totally butchered that last name, so if that's wrong, I apologize. He asks, is your plan to make a career out of photography? At the end of the day, right now, that's probably the goal. I really love photography. I love doing it. I love the business aspect and the marketing aspect that comes along with actually taking the photos. If that doesn't work out, if photography doesn't work out, because I know even though I'm already in the industry, it's really difficult to make money and just stay alive in a very popular industry. And in my location, there's so many photographers, and making business from portraiture is really hard. I'm really starting to get into that market though, and I'm starting to have more clients than what I was. So as far as that goes, that's great. If I don't do something in photography, I would still kind of like to do something in business, whether it be managing someone's business or something. And I really like marketing as well. I could be a marketing director or something. Looking past the business aspect and the photography aspect, I have considered a career in like law enforcement before. I think being a federal agent would be something that's really interesting and unique. But right now, my plan is to make a career out of photography. Yes. So, this next comment is pretty interesting, and I will be calling you out. If you insulted me, I'm calling you out. Okay, so this comment is left by Robert Beal on my video on the reality of the Nikon D6, which was one of my most popular videos and also one of my most hated on videos. So, Robert says, I have used the D5 and bought the D6. Before you trash the camera, you should try it and forget about Nikon ever being serious about video. on anything other than the Z line of cameras. The autofocus on the D6 is truly amazing, and it is much more connected. Have a good day. So, he said before I trash the camera, I should buy the camera. Well, for one, we're talking about a $6,500 camera. I am 16. I cannot afford a $6,500 camera. 2, the camera was not released when I made this video. I was literally going solely off the specs. I was telling you what Nikon was saying, and I was giving you my personal thoughts on it. And based on the specs, it was trash. I have not touched the camera. I still think the Nikon D6 is trash. It should be named the Nikon D5S. Or like D5 Mark II. I don't know. It should not be the D6, I don't think. That's my personal opinion. I'm entitled to it. I have not touched the camera. Would my mind change if I did? Possibly. I don't know. But I can't afford the camera, so big whoop. It's $6,500. Like I said, I'm 16. And 2, the camera wasn't released, so like, how was I supposed to buy it? When he commented, yeah, it was released, but it wasn't when I made the video. And something else I noticed is when you make a review on a product, people love to go and watch the video after they've bought the product. And if the review and if the opinion isn't, oh, this is the best camera you'll ever buy, that upsets them and they get really mad about it and they get all defensive, and that's when they start attacking you because they just went and spent $6,500 on a camera and you're saying that you don't like it. So obviously that's going to evoke some emotion. That was my little TED Talk. There's probably about to be more. Okay, so this next question is also from Todd Kunz. This was on my, I believe it was my sunrise photography video at the beach. He says, while shooting the landscape... No. This was actually on my Nikkor 24-70 video, I think. Yeah, it was. Todd says, while shooting the landscape stuff, you kept saying that you had a filter on, but I didn't catch you saying what filter that was. And I said I was using a newer ND filter set. I think I was using the ND16. Todd came back and said, so why did you need an ND filter for the 2 scenic shots? I said to be able to capture long exposures without the picture being overexposed and letting too much light into the camera. Todd said, okay, still confused. For the sunrise image, why did you need a long exposure for that? I did not reply because Todd is 100% correct, and I knew where this was going ever since he was asking why I need an ND filter. I just wanted to defend myself. Todd, you're 100% correct. I did not need an ND filter for either one of those shots. That was... I don't know what I was thinking. It was like 6:30 in the morning in my defense. I just went on a mile hike to get up there to film that video. So don't come at me like that, Todd. I'm just kidding. It's totally fine. I appreciate the question. Yeah, I didn't need an ND filter basically. So, Harry Burnett says, a great video and inspiring. I love your excitement. By the way, you sound like my Arkansas family. He left this comment on my sunrise photography at the beach video. And yeah, 70% of my comments are a lot of the times about my accent. I don't think I have an accent, obviously, but a lot of people seem to think I do. So I said, yep, I got that twingy country accent. I said, I'm from Kentucky. And I said, glad you liked the video. So, yeah, I'm country, apparently. Okay, this next question is also from Harry Burnett. He said, this is great material. Thank you for doing amazing work. By the way, what do you shoot your blogs with? Sharing on Facebook. Thank you for sharing it, Harry, and thank you for the nice words. I appreciate that. So, Harry, when I'm out in the field and shooting a vlog, I'm using my secondary camera, my Nikon D3500, to film the video. When I'm here in my office, like I am right now, I'm using the Nikon D500 to film the video. So, if I'm actually out in the field vlogging, D3500. If I'm here in this office/studio place, I'm using the D500. Also, what do you guys think about this camera angle? You can see my tripods and lenses and stuff. If you used to watch me back when I co-hosted on the All Outdoor Photography podcast, which is now hosted by Henry Doyle and Ryan Taylor, You've seen this setup. I've never used this in like an actual video on my channel until today. So what do you think? This next comment is from Gianna del Blanco. Or if I want to be really Spanish talking, it would be Gianna del Blanco. That's right, I take Spanish. Anyways, Gianna, this video made no sense. Sorry. If you will do a video, buy a video camera. Stop trashing products you have never got in your hand. That comment was left on my Nikon D6 video. I could not have the camera in my hand. It was not released. That video was solely based on my opinion, and I made that very clear. And who buys video cameras anymore? You use cameras to video, like, you know, regular cameras. Like, you don't go and buy one of those video cameras that you strap to your hand with the little thing that opens up on the side. Maybe back in 2003. But not now. Sorry, Gianna. So, this next question comes from Wolftick Videos. This was left as a comment on my YouTube channel as well. What type of photography do you want to be a professional photographer in? Maybe you said it and I missed it. So, I'm about to have another little rant here. So oftentimes, there's a lot of people that when you get into the industry, they're really hard set, like, you've got to pick a niche. You've got to do this and stick to this. Well, personally, I don't believe that. And 100%. I don't believe that 100%, but there is somewhat truth to that statement. However, as a photographer, you're an artist. Like, photography is an art. I think a lot of people don't understand that, but it is considered a visual art. So here's what I have to say to that. A painter would not limit themselves to only painting one scene for their entire career. A drawer would not necessarily limit themselves to drawing the same thing. And I also like to say, there is more than one way to draw a square. Some people might start drawing the square at the top, some might start on the bottom, some might start on the side. I look at photography the same way. I feel like if you're a landscape photographer, it's also okay to shoot wildlife and it's also okay to shoot portraiture. I feel like you should experiment yourself and not allow yourself to just do one thing. Now, granted, I think it's important to be more specialized in a specific category of photography, but I don't think that you should limit yourself to just that. I do portraits, I do landscape, I do wildlife. Now, like, those are my main three categories that I do. I am not primarily a landscape photographer, I will tell you that, but I have gotten some really good landscape photography photos. So, don't hold yourself back by just doing wildlife photography or just doing portrait photography. If someone came to me today and was like, hey, let's go shoot macro photography, and we were going out to have fun and do it, and there was a chance that I could get a really good photo, I'm going to say, okay, let's go. Like, don't hold yourself back by just doing one thing. What do I want to do professional photography in? Wildlife, landscape, and portraits. Because those are my three favorite things of photography, and I'm not going to limit myself to one of those despite what critics are going to tell me to do. So, that's just my opinion. If you want to go and pick a niche and stick to it, you do you. But I feel like you should experiment with some other forms of photography as well. So this next comment is from Lazy Dog. He or she says, I'm not sure which, I could just about live in that lovely Hyde building, which they are referring to as my blind that I set up in. Thank you for that. My papa built that. He worked really hard on that. And I also hunt. I know that's going to probably have its drawbacks because a lot of people suspect when you do wildlife photography you're like a conservationist, a wildlife conservationist as well. And yes, I think there are certain forms of wildlife that should be protected. But when hunting season is in and there's no laws against it, I don't have a problem with anyone going out for a hunt. I really don't. I don't get the big deal about it. It's hunting season. The species is not endangered. There's no issues for me on that. I've went hunting plenty of times. That's just my opinion, though. So, this is another comment left on YouTube, and it is from Mr. Jester012. So, Mr. Jester says, a quick tip for you. Don't tell people to like and subscribe unless they decide to do so based on watching your content. It's extremely annoying. No one likes being told what to do. This seems like a really good part of a video to remind you all to go down below and like today's video. While you're down there, you might as well subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. Unless you're Mr. Jester and you don't like being told what to do. So, this next comment / question is from Paul Rose. He said, "Hi, I'm from the UK. Great video, Rylan. I'm thinking of getting this lens and a D500. The lens he is referring to is the Nikkor 200 to 500 millimeter lens, and this was left on my review of that lens. He says, would you go for getting the Nikon 200 to 500 over, say, a Sigma C or Tamron G2 150 to 600 millimeter? He said it will mostly be used for bird photography. He said he was wondering if the 200 to 500 will give him enough distance, but he said he would go quality over distance. He said he asked if he would miss that extra 100 millimeters. He said obviously he's speaking from a newbie point of view, and he thinks that he will definitely go for the D500 as it gets great reviews. He just needs more experienced advice on the lens. So, Paul, thank you for the question. That was a very detailed question. I'm going to try to answer every part of it. He was wondering, okay, the first question was he was wondering if the 200 to 500 would give him enough distance as far as range. Like if the bird isn't very close, is it going to give him enough distance? Assuming you are still sticking with getting the D500, it is a crop sensor camera, and the 200 to 500 is a full frame lens. This means that you're getting an extra 1.5 crop factor, which means that the 200 to 500, let's do this out. Okay, so 200 times 1.5 is 300. 500 times 1.5 is 750. So, once you convert that, the 200 to 500 is actually a 300 millimeter to 750 millimeter on the Nikon D500, which is giving you a lot more reach than what they advertise the lens to be. So, distance isn't a problem. He said he would go quality over distance. Yes, in terms of that, the 200 to 500 is going to be better quality and more sharp than the Sigma or the Tamron lens would be, just because it's a Nikon-based lens for a Nikon camera. So, he's speaking from a newbie point of view. That's great. I hope your photography is going great, Paul. And I hope that you choose the 200 to 500 lens. But at the end of the day, any of them are going to get the job done for you. So, this... I can't give a straight face on this one. This next comment is one of my all-time favorite comments that I've ever got. It's from Mahal Holiday. And the comment is, you look nice. Yeah, I do. Thanks, Mahal. Okay. This one kind of ticks me off. It's also from Todd Kunz. You watch the channel a lot, Todd, and I'm going to guess that you're watching this video. No bad vibes towards you, but you said, Rylan, if you want to be a high-end shooter, you need to stop listening to Tony and Chelsea Northrup. With all due respect, they are hacks. Oh! And not professionals. I dropped my phone. Well, Stunning Digital Photography, signed by Tony and Chelsea Northrup, sits on my desk, and this book and their Photoshop book and their videos have taught me everything I know about photography. No joke. I've never taken any kind of photography course, and I like to think that my photos are pretty good. So, Tony and Chelsea, they might try to get you to buy products and buy their stuff, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's their job, and that's how they make their money. I don't think they're hacks. I think they know what they're doing, and I think they know what they're talking about. They might be controversial at times, but at the end of the day, they are really good teachers, because They taught me everything that I do, basically. This next comment is also one of my favorite all-time comments that I've ever gotten. I was trying on my blue light reduction glasses in one of my videos, and I said, should I wear these? I feel like they look stupid. And then I took them off. Well, Mr. Mike V thought that it would be fun to comment, you are stupid, not the glasses. Well, you know what, Mike? I don't even know what to say to you. That's right. You should feel bad about yourself for commenting that on a teenager. How old are you, 60? Go get a life, Mike. I might be stupid at times, but that was disrespectful. So, we are back to me answering questions from my Instagram. This question is, what camera do you use? I use a Nikon D500 as my primary camera and a Nikon D3500 as my secondary camera. The next question is, what is your favorite outdoor activity? I really like to go hiking and I like swimming. I also enjoy a run every now and then. The next question is, what would you change about yourself if you could? I don't know. That's a deep question. I like myself. I really do. I mean, obviously I'm not perfect. What would I change about myself? I don't. Nothing's really coming to mind. I would like to probably, most of anything, I would like to be more patient. I'm not a very patient person in life. So that's my answer. I would like to be more patient. This next question says, got anyone in your family who gets annoyed if you try and correct them on their photo? Occasionally. I mean, it's not like an issue. And it's not like there's this big deal about it. I mean, yeah, granted, every now and then I'll be like, maybe instead of that angle, you should stand over here. Or I'll be like, well, that's blurry. Or the thing is, most people use their phones. Like, my mom has a camera, but she never uses it. So that's a whole other topic. But most of the time, I'll just be like, hey, you could use portrait mode instead of using that regular mode. But they don't, like, get annoyed if I make a suggestion, because I am good at what I do. That's right. I said it. So the next question is, do you have any haters? Well, we just read a bunch of my YouTube comments, so obviously there's haters, and especially when you do, like, product reviews, you're going to have haters. When you do just about anything on YouTube or Instagram, and you gain somewhat of a following and you're successful, you're going to have haters if you like it or not. I mean, it's just part of success, I guess. And I'm not here to say by any means that I'm a very successful YouTuber or a very successful Instagrammer. I am far more successful on Instagram than I am on YouTube. But, I mean, obviously there's going to be haters wherever you're at. You can't please everyone. So the next question is, what is my favorite photo that I've ever taken? Ugh. I literally get asked this all the time, and I don't have a straight up answer for you. I really don't, and I wish I did, but I don't have a straight up answer. I have a favorite wildlife photo, I have a favorite landscape photo, and I have a favorite portrait photo, but I can't pick one. I can't. I'm sorry. Next question. Ooh. This is a very interesting question. Because it's something that I've thought about before. The question is, would you ever be interested in your own photography TV show? The answer is yes. I would 100% be interested in my own photography TV show. And I feel like there's somewhat of a market of that. Like a travel show that implements photography into it. It could be a show with a photographer traveling to different popular locations around the world and taking photos. And there's a whole lot of travel channels that go around and travel and do that, but they don't have the photography aspect. They might even have shows that actually go out and it does show someone taking a photo. But if they do, they don't like go in depth into the process, and they don't explain shutter speed and aperture and ISO to their users, and they don't explain their compositional technique. I feel like there is somewhat of a market for that, more of the travel side than the photography, but I think people will be interested at seeing how award-winning professional photographers do that. So you could have an award-winning professional photographer hosting the show and going out and traveling, and then you could have the show centered around that and how they do their job. I feel like National Geographic, the Travel Channel, Animal Planet, I feel like a lot of stations like that should pick up a show like that, because I feel like it would do really well. I'm not sure if that's anything any channel like that has ever thought of, but they certainly should. And if they do, I would love to host it. You can center it around me. Or I would also be interested in like executive producing something like that. I feel like that would be really fun. And if you don't call me, I'll just sue you and say that you stole my idea, because it's here in video. Yeah, that's right. So, anyways, thank you all so much for watching today's video. That is all of the comments and the questions that I compiled together for this long-promised video. This is a very long video, so it would really help me out a lot if you would like the video and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. If you want to see another video like this, I would love to do it. Typically, I don't do videos like this. This is a photography-based channel, so if this is like the first time you're seeing me, I have a whole lot of photography videos. You can click right here to go and watch some of those. This channel does everything photography. I mean, yeah, just subscribe. It's going to be a fun ride. This is this week's bonus video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an amazing day.